Going to do today is we're going to draw ISO to ortho object number 1, and I want you to kind of take the perspective of looking at this object of saying that front surface where you can see the profile of the circle. That's going to be our front. Our right side will be closest to the bottom right hand side of the page, and our top view will be what we see as closest to the top of the page. So looking at this object, I'm just going to start with the top view here. I'm going to draw a rectangle that's going to be 6 by 2 1/4. Now I'm going to bring that object down into my area here, and from here I'm going to bring my origin point down and set my origin point to that top left corner. I'm just going to draw a line here, and I'm going to go ahead and over here in my X I'm going to say it's going to be 1.25, and then I'm going to duplicate that line, and I'm going to say that that's going to be 1.75. What that's doing for me is it's telling me that I've got 1 1/4 inch space here, which we can see on the document, and then I've also got a 1/2 inch left over here, because if I take my circle with a 1 1/4 radius and I multiply that by 2 to get the diameter, that's a 2.5. 2.5 from 3.5 is going to give me 1 inch total. Divide that by 2, I now have a 1/2 inch space here. So I'm going to take my origin point. You know what? I'm actually going to try something different. I'm going to take these 2 lines here, and I'm going to use my mirroring tool. And in my top center, I'm just going to draw a line down, and bam, there's the other half of this object. I'm going to do the same thing with my circle here. My circle is a 1/2 inch drill bit, which means that my radius of this is going to be 0.25. And I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to place that, hover over top of my upper right, hover over top of my lower left, and it's going to give me a center point to put that on. And then again, I'm going to take my mirroring tool and just move that right over to the other side. All right, this is a symmetrical object, so I can just easily do that. I'm now going to take my guidelines, and this is kind of the hard one to do. And there's several ways to do it, as there is with everything. So I'm just going to bring these guidelines down into my object for my front view. Of course, not forgetting my circles here, or my holes. And I'm actually going to bring an extra one down that's going to support me drawing my front view. I'm going to draw a center line here. That's going to help me. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take my 2D polyline tool, and in my 2D polyline tool, I'm going to put this in the visible class. I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to come up 1/2 inch. I'm going to come over the 1 1/4, and then here, all right, I've got a 1 3/4 total with a 1/2 inch off, so it's going to be a total of 1 1/4 high. So I'm going to tab over and go to 1 1/4. I'm going to bring this over here, and then from here I'm going to actually change my mode in my 2D polyline mode. I'm going to bring this line over with its guide and click in, and then I'm going to come up here and click it in to this line here, and then I'm going to select this back to my I'm going to select this back to my 90-degree angle mode. I'm going to select that point there, let that come across as being the red line over to here, and then I'm just going to end that object by allowing that to finish itself here and bring that over. So there's my front view of this object, and now what I can do is I can bring in my hidden lines. So I'm going to have a hidden line here, I'm going to have a hidden line here, here, and here. I could also have done just one of them and done the same mirroring thing that I did here at the top. For example, I'll do it with the center line here. So I'll start above, and I'll bring that down. And then what I'll do is I'll take my mirroring tool, and I'll just mirror that object. You'll see it'll put it on my right-hand side of my front view. From here, it's now time to make my guidelines my right side view, so I'm just going to bring this line straight over. I'm going to bring this line straight over. I'm going to bring this line straight over. And you'll notice that this line here is in line with this line here, so that there's no other line there to help me draw that object. Bringing my 45 over, trying to not be confused by the background of my title block here. I'm just going to bring these lines over very quickly. And the last thing I'm going to bring over is my circle or my hole that's cut out. And from here, I like to draw smarter than harder. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool, and I'm going to put this in the visible class. And I'm going to draw my overall rectangle. I'm going to bring in a visible line. And I'm going to take both of these objects here and send them to the back. That way my guidelines start to come out and over on top. I'm going to take these 3 lines over here, remember, because they are the same from the front as they are from the side, and I'm just going to bring that in, and now I've now got that happening as well. I'm not really sure what happened there with my. We're going to bring that one to the front. I'm not sure what happened there. I will duplicate this line here and put that where that line is, and it still hides itself. I'm imagining that that's because my title block's there. My title block's actually taking precedence. Let's check it and just verify that. So I'm going to go to Class Options, Active Only, and I'm going to go over here to the Guide class. I'm going to select it all. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to come back up here to Class Options, down to Show Snap Modify Others, and then I'm going to go in here and scale this a little bit. My scale on this one, I'm going to not scale too much, 1 to 1.2, and you'll see that now that hidden line does in fact show up. So I'm going to take all of this and bring this over into my printable area. And there it is, ISO to Ortho number 1.